Hi friends, today I would like to discuss with you the basic concepts of the jurisdiction under the CPC. Because when we file the case in the court of law, always we ask that whether the court has jurisdiction or not, because the provision of jurisdiction is the basic provision which is very much important. So every lawyer who is practicing should know the basic concept of jurisdiction, that is ABC of law. So today I would like to have discussion with you regarding this only. First of all, I would like to explain the meaning of the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction, though the word has not been defined in the Civil Procedure Code, it means it is nothing but authority and power of the court to hear the matter, to decide the matter, to adjudicate the matter, or to pass any order. Therefore, it is nothing but the power of the court, right of the court, authority of the court to decide, hear the matter, or to adjudicate upon the case which is pending before it. Therefore, this is most important power of the court. The jurisdiction of the court does not depend upon the will and wish of the party. Likewise, the agreement between the parties can never grant the jurisdiction to a particular case. Similarly, the agreement or wish or will of the party cannot take away the jurisdiction of a particular court. Therefore, the jurisdiction is provided as per the statute, as per the law. Now we should know the types of jurisdiction, that there are many kinds of jurisdiction. Number one, territorial jurisdiction. Territorial jurisdiction means the jurisdiction which depends upon the territorial area. For example, if the disputed property is located within the jurisdiction of the Mumbai, then only court of Mumbai can decide the issue, can decide the case, and not the court of Pune, unless there is a concurrent jurisdiction. Likewise, if the property is situated in Pune, then the only court of Pune has authority or power to decide the case. That is called territorial jurisdiction. Territorial jurisdiction, which depends upon the area where the property is located. Sometime it might happen that the property is located at two different jurisdiction. For example, the property may be at the border of Pune district and Mumbai district. In that case, both the court have jurisdiction, because this jurisdiction is called concurrent jurisdiction. For example, if some portion of the property is situated in Pune and some portion of the property is situated in Mumbai, in that case, both the courts will have jurisdiction, that is called concurrent jurisdiction. And sometime it might happen that small portion of the property is located or situated in the jurisdiction of another court. In that case, any court may try suit of civil nature. If some portion of the property is situated in another district like Thane, even that Thane court can also try the issue, can try the civil suit. Therefore, this is called territorial jurisdiction. Another kind of jurisdiction is pecuniary jurisdiction. Pecuniary, the word itself is explanatory, which speaks about that the jurisdiction of the court depends upon the amount involved in that case, claim of the money involved in that case. For example, if a person is claiming more than 5 lakh rupees in a particular suit, like suit for defamation, if a person has filed and claiming 1 crore rupees, in that case the quantum of the money decides the jurisdiction of the court. In that case, the matter, such a case will go before the civil judge senior division only, because if the pecuniary jurisdiction of the matter does not increase more than 5 lakh in Maharashtra, only civil judge junior division has the authority and power to decide such a case. Once the amount is exceeded like more than 5 lakhs to unlimited, then civil judge senior division have authority. Likewise, the district court has authority to in to any to the maximum to unlimited jurisdiction, because there is no maximum cap over the power or pecuniary power of the district court. Whereas in Mumbai, city civil court have jurisdiction up to only 1 crore rupees. If the case or claim of the civil suit involves more than 1 crore rupees, in that case the civil suit has to be filed before the Honorable High Court of Bombay, that is in its original jurisdiction. So we have covered territorial jurisdiction, pecuniary jurisdiction. Now subject matter. Sometimes the jurisdiction of the court depends upon the nature of the case, kind of subject. For example, labor court matter will go to the labor court. Industrial case will go to the industrial, and any matter like a company law related issue will go to the company law NCLT, that is tribunal. Likewise, family court matter will go to the family court, labor court matter will go to the labor court, and consumer related issues need to be filed before the appropriate forum under the Consumer Protection Act 1986, like district forum, state level forum, and national forum. So these are called as subject matter. The jurisdiction of the court depends upon the subject matter. Now, original jurisdiction and appellate jurisdiction. As we have been practicing in the High Court of Bombay, and those lawyers who are practicing in Mumbai, they know that original jurisdiction is what, and what is appellate jurisdiction. Being a lawyer, everyone should know this. For example, if the matter is filed before the city civil court in which the claim is less than 1 crore, that is called pecuniary jurisdiction. And if if it involves more than 1 crore, then it is before the Honorable High Court of Bombay under its original jurisdiction. Sometime once the matter has been decided by the city civil court, civil suit, then in appellate jurisdiction the appeal can be filed before the Honorable High Court of Bombay. That is called appellate jurisdiction. So the word itself is explanatory: appellate and original jurisdiction. Now, some important aspect regarding the jurisdiction I would like to discuss here with you. The jurisdiction of the court does not depend upon the will and wish of the parties, neither it depends upon the agreement between the parties. Therefore, it is statutory, it is given under the law. Second thing, if the court does not have jurisdiction but passes or tries the case or conducted the trial, in that case, the order passed by the court, the decree passed by the court can be declared as a nullity, because the court doesn't have jurisdiction. Because when the court doesn't have power, then court cannot exercise its jurisdiction. If exercises or happens to exercises, then such a decree or order is nothing but a nullity. It has zero value in the eye of law, and the said decree can be declared as nullity by the proper court. In section 11 of the CPC also, there is a concept of authority, jurisdiction of the court. If the case has not been decided by the court who doesn't have jurisdiction, in that case, that cannot become a res judicata according to section 11 of the CPC. Therefore, these are the important provisions of the jurisdiction which I have discussed with you. Now, if any party raises the objection as to the jurisdiction, for example, if a plaint has been filed by the plaintiff and thereafter the defendant has taken an objection that the court doesn't have jurisdiction, in that case a petition under 9A of the CPC has to be filed by the defendant if he wants to challenge the jurisdiction. Then in that case, the burden or onus of proving that the court doesn't have jurisdiction is on the defendant, because he is one who alleges that the particular court doesn't have jurisdiction. Otherwise, because the burden is on him, he has to prove that there is no jurisdiction to that particular court. Therefore, onus is on the defendant who files a petition under 9A of the CPC. He has to prove that the court doesn't have jurisdiction. Otherwise, it presumes that the court has jurisdiction. And once he proves, then the other party will have right to disprove the same according to the provision of Indian Evidence Act. I think I have covered the many provisions related to the jurisdiction, and if anything is remaining, you may read it. Thanks for hearing to me.